Hey guys, it's Emma here, and I have my recent reads favourite read for July. As always, I've got my Goodreads app here, so let's just get started. So the first thing I read was one of my partner's comics, and that's Marjorie Finnegan, Temporal Criminal. The next thing was one of my Stephen King books that I have for my collection. I have read it before, but I wanted to reread it. I don't think I've read it since I bought it. I think I read it from the library before or something, but it's It by Stephen King. The next one was one of my Kindle Unlimited books. As always, I try and read 2 or 3 every month just to make sure I get the money worth out of that because I pay for that service. So the first Kindle Unlimited book I read was Malignant Summer. The next thing I read was again one of my partner's comics After the Fall. And then one of my comics that he bought me for my birthday, I think it was, which was Punderworld Volume 1. And then I read more of my Kindle Unlimited books, so I started a new series, and the first book is The Things You Find in Rock Pools. And I also read the second book in that series, which is The Lorney Island Detective Club. Then I read one of my, I think it was the last ever book I had in my last ever fiction box of a box of stories, so now I've read all of those books. I don't get that box anymore, so this was the last one, and it's called Wish You Were Here. And the last thing I read in July was, again, one of my partner's bigger comics, Star Wars Legacy Book 1. So that is everything I read in July. It is not as much as I normally read, but it is massive. I thought it was smaller than The Stand, which I read a couple of years ago in the summer, but it's actually a few pages longer than The Stand. So I was off for almost 2 weeks. On holiday just in the summer, and I basically just took the whole time to read the book. I just finished it the day before I was due to go back to work. So yeah, that took up most of the month. But yeah, so that's why there's not as many books or anything this month. So I'm slightly behind, I think, now on my Goodreads challenge for the year, because we're like over halfway through the year now. So I'm gonna have to pick up my pace a bit and read some more things for this month. But when I was trying to decide what I was going to pick, I really do love It, and I remember loving it before, and I definitely have confirmed the fact that I do love that book. He doesn't always write books I love, but I really do love that one. But he has enough marketing, he has enough people saying how amazing his books are, and this series of videos is to shout out books that I have found and I've just really loved, and I want to tell people about them. So the book that I am going to pick for my favourite read for this month is, if I could find it on here, The Things You Find in Rock Pools, and that's by Greg Dunnett. So I'd been recommended this book actually from a colleague at work, and I found out that it was on Kindle Unlimited, so I was like, well, that's great, I will just stick it in my list. But it's been sitting there for a few months now, so I decided, okay, let's give it a go. Not realising that there were more books, I thought it was just a one-off. I really loved it, and when I got to the end, I figured out that there are 4 books in the series, so I've been reading through the rest of them. I think I'm on the last one just now. But yeah, this first book was amazing. I mean, they're all good. I've enjoyed them all so far, but yeah, this is definitely my favourite pick for this month. So basically, it follows a young boy, Billy Wheatley, on this island. Now, it's the author said apparently it was supposed to be originally set in an island off the UK, but he's made up this island and set it over in America, just off of, I think their ferry goes to Boston, so off from there there's this island called Lorney Island, which this boy Billy lives with his father, and it's just the two of them. And you kind of get a bit more information as you go through the book about his story and his past. But basically the plot of the first book is that he's 11 years old in the first book. He's this young boy, just him and his dad, and he's a very smart boy. He does lots of research, he does lots of experiments, he wants to be a scientist when he grows up, so he's constantly doing experiments. Marine life, things like that, counting crabs and doing all these studies. But the main plot of this one is that there's this girl who comes, because there's lots of tourists that come to this island for their vacations. This girl goes missing, and the boy Billy is basically trying to be an amateur detective and figure out what happened. and the more things he finds out, the more it starts leading to a certain person. There are many twists and turns in this book. The other thing I really liked about it, and you don't get this a lot in books, and sometimes it's not done very well and it would be annoying, but for whatever reason it worked for me in this book, is that it's basically the character Billy is telling you the story. So he's saying to you, I went and did this, I went and did that, this happened, that happened. And also, like, he's actually having a conversation with you, which is, like, again, if it's not done right, that's weird. But it's just, for whatever reason, it clicked with me. So you'll be going through the book, and then a bit later on, he'll be like, oh, well, I feel like I know you now, so I will tell you this thing. And it's just really, like, it's just refreshing. I don't see that a lot in books. But yeah, as I say, it might not work all the time, but it worked for me in this book, in this series, because it carries on that way. There are other characters, like police detectives and things, that it focuses on later in the book, so for a few chapters it will be, you know, they did this, they did that, not in his voice, but then it goes back to Billy. But yeah, as I said, it's great if you've got Kindle Unlimited, you can just get it on that. If not, I don't know exactly how much it costs, but I think it would be quite cheap on the Kindle, just a few pounds. I'll probably insert that here if I can find out. But yeah, that is the one I am recommending for my reads for July. So things you find in rock pools. It's great, really, really great. Just go and check it out. But that is it for this one, guys. So any comments, leave them down below. Share it with your friends. Give it a thumbs up. And I will catch you next time, guys. Bye!